Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two most popular names in cryptocurrency. They're also the two largest cryptocurrencies by market cap. But that's really where the similarities end. In this video, we'll look at the differences between Bitcoin and Ethereum and look at which one is the better investment over the long term. And we're going to start now. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jay, and today we're talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're going to talk about the differences between the two and their prospects for long-term investments. And while Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two largest and most popular cryptocurrencies on the market today, they're actually very different, and a lot of new cryptocurrency investors might not actually realize that. As you might know by now, Bitcoin hit the scene back in 2009 with the promise of becoming a brand new digital decentralized currency. I first became aware of Bitcoin somewhere around 2011. Most of you probably don't know that way back then I actually wrote a personal finance and investing blog. And I did a lot of research on Bitcoin to write a blog post about it back in 2011. So that blog isn't active anymore. I let the domain expire years ago. But I went back in the Wayback Machine and found that blog post. And when I wrote about Bitcoin back in 2011, the price was $42. And now, if I had invested $1,000 back then when I first learned about and researched Bitcoin, back at $42, at today's price of $55,800 per Bitcoin, my $1,000 investment in Bitcoin back then would be worth $1.328 million today. So the point there was that is one of the greatest missed opportunities in my investing career. So if I can just ask for a bit of sympathy, instead of putting an F in the chat, how about you go down and just hit the like button on this video. Just hit that like button for the $1.3 million that I let slip away because I decided not to invest 10 years ago. Anyways, that tangent aside, Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a currency, but there are only going to be 21 million Bitcoins ever mined, ever. So there's a very fixed supply of Bitcoin, and as you're well aware, over the history, the price of a Bitcoin has been extremely volatile. And because the price moved up and down so much, no one really wanted to spend the Bitcoin they had. There's a famous story of some guy way back in the early days of Bitcoin who ordered a pizza and paid for it in Bitcoin. And the amount of Bitcoin he spent on that pizza not long afterwards would have been worth $1 million. So essentially, this guy bought a $1 million pizza. And that, along with a bunch of reasons that are a bit too technical for the scope of this video, is why Bitcoin has transformed from a currency, as it set out to be in its early days, to now is looked more upon as a store of value or a digital form of gold. So people that are investing and buying Bitcoin now aren't really buying it to buy pizzas or cars or anything else with, and they're buying it as an asset that's going to retain and appreciate in value. Now, on the other hand, Ethereum was never meant to be a currency. Rather, what Ethereum is, in simple terms, is a decentralized network, kind of a platform that a lot of other applications and things are built on top of. And right now, NFTs are the hot thing in the cryptocurrency space. I did a video about it not long ago, but basically NFTs are kind of like a digital certificate of authenticity that are gaining tons of traction in the online collectible and art and music space. And most of these NFTs are actually built upon the Ethereum infrastructure, the Ethereum network. So if Ethereum really isn't a currency, why are people buying Ethereum? What gives it its value? Why are people investing in Ethereum? And that's because the Ethereum tokens that you buy and invest in are what's used to facilitate transactions over the Ethereum blockchain. And right now, the Ethereum network is running into a lot of problems because the Ethereum network is so popular, it's kind of getting overloaded. There's too much going on, there's too many transactions happening, which are causing transaction times to really slow down and the fees to process transactions to rise. And this is where another big difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum comes in. Right now, the Bitcoin blockchain and Ethereum blockchain both operate on what's called a proof of work model. And the proof of work model is where really powerful computers have to solve really complex algorithms to mine another block of the Bitcoin or Ethereum blockchain. There was a really funny tweet I saw once that said the simplest way to explain Bitcoin is, imagine you can leave your car idling, and doing so produces completed Sudoku puzzles which you can then trade for drugs. And that's how you explain Bitcoin to a complete noob. Anyways, that's kind of what the proof of work model is. It takes a lot of computing power, a lot of energy, which is a criticism of crypto right now. But Ethereum is in the process of rolling out Ethereum 2.0. And what that is they're moving from that proof of work model to what they call a proof of stake model. And what the proof of stake model will do is, instead of having a computer using up all this energy and all this computing power to verify transactions on the blockchain, that's slow, it's inefficient. The proof of stake model is where holders of the Ethereum tokens will stake their tokens as collateral, and an algorithm will choose which stakeholder creates that next block on the blockchain. In turn for staking their Ethereum tokens like this, the stakeholder earns a transaction fee, almost like earning interest on their Ethereum tokens. And when Ethereum 2.0 rolls out, anyone that holds at least 32 Ethereum tokens will be able to be a staker in this proof of stake model. So that will dramatically lower energy usage, computing power, and fees on the Ethereum network. So now I've rambled on about Bitcoin and Ethereum and the differences and some of the technicalities between the two, but y'all came here, what one is the better investment over the long term? And before I tell you that, I need to bug you once again to please hit the thumbs up on this video, give it a like, it really helps me and the channel out. And while you're down there, you might as well subscribe too. Okay, so drum roll please. Bitcoin versus Ethereum, which one is going to be the better investment over the long term? And I have to put this disclaimer anytime I talk about this stuff. Any cryptocurrency right now is a very volatile, very high risk investment and should be treated as such. While I do invest in both Bitcoin and Ethereum myself, and what I would recommend to anyone else is to keep it to 5% or less of your total investment portfolio. And with that said, out of Bitcoin or Ethereum, I think Bitcoin is probably the safer investment of the two. Obviously, safer is a relative term here, but Bitcoin is just gaining so much traction right now with big corporations and big players adopting Bitcoin more and more by the day. You have companies like Tesla and Square and MicroStrategy all buying enormous amounts of Bitcoin on their books. And you see companies like PayPal and Robinhood and Webull and Square and SoFi all offering Bitcoin services now. So it's very obvious that Bitcoin is here to stay. While it still is a risky investment, I think the chances of Bitcoin going to zero are about zero at this day and age. Now, how high Bitcoin will go over the next 1, 5, 10 years, who knows? But I have to say the long-term prospects look extremely promising. But with Ethereum, I think it's a little bit more high risk, high reward. But again, I think the long-term prospects are extremely promising. Like I mentioned before, Ethereum is so popular right now, so many things being transacted over that network, that it's being overloaded. And while there is a risk there that with Ethereum being overloaded right now and these problems probably not being sorted out until Ethereum 2.0 rolls out sometime next year, I believe, maybe there's another coin out there that can jump up and do what Ethereum does, but better. But I think Ethereum has the name recognition and they're kind of the first mover. So as long as they can roll Ethereum 2.0 out relatively quickly and it all works and does the things it's promised to do, I think Ethereum may have a higher ceiling right now than Bitcoin does. So I think in the cryptocurrency space, both Bitcoin and Ethereum are excellent long-term investment options. Now again, they're both very speculative, very high risk, but in this cryptocurrency world, I think they're about as safe as you can get. So my final verdict is, I think if you're going to invest in cryptocurrency, you can't go wrong just sticking to Bitcoin and Ethereum. But if you're going to force me to pick one that is going to give you higher returns than the other, I'm probably going to say right now, my money's on Ethereum. So if you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. If I screwed anything up technically describing these, please let me know. I am not a cryptocurrency expert. I try to learn as much about this stuff as possible, but I am far from an expert. So if you know more about it than I do, let me know what I screwed up. Let me know if my projections are wrong and maybe Bitcoin is far better. I always love being told I'm wrong something down in the comments, so don't be shy. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I think you'll like both of these videos over here, so please check them out, and I hope to see you there.